You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show.
Hey everyone, Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AfterBuzz After Show for the Real Housewives of New York City, Season 5, Episode 4, called Disinvite, creatively spelled DISS-invite. I'm here with an awesome panel. Before I get to them, of course, I'll introduce myself first. Just kidding. I'm Kristen Carney, your host for this evening, and to my left I have...
I am Anna Koppel.
I am Yerman Gur.
And I'm Molly Harper.
Awesome. And now that we got our AA thing done out of the way, it's like, hello everyone, we are going to be chatting about tonight's episode, or last night's episode, I should say. But before we do, I just want to say thanks to everyone on iTunes for listening. And if you don't mind, please, I would love if you would go and rate and comment on our iTunes page. It just helps us out a little bit. And it makes us look cool so that when you tell your friends what podcast you listen to and they go see all the ratings, they're like, wow, it is cool. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So tonight we got to, episode 4 of the season, and was the juiciest, I think, as of yet.
Oh
yes?
my God.
I mean, I guess.
What? What more could you want?
You're doubtful?
Are you
I
kidding?
I really felt like this was fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had a
was.
blast watching it. I had like my Coke and my chips. I was like throwing up popcorn every time somebody did something weird. It was great.
Right. It says so much about the human condition too, that like we enjoyed this one the most because there was the most fighting.
The most bad things happening.
Right.
Yeah, we're like, that's awesome.
I feel like this episode I would have watched peaceful, like on silent, just to see Ramona's eyes jiggle all over the place, and that would have been fun enough.
Right.
Has she been like that the whole time? I mean,
Yeah.
is
The
that
whole series.
that's
Yes.
amazing. I have rarely seen someone so honestly. It kind of detracts from like whatever image she's trying to portray, because when I see someone flailing about, it kind of loses gravitas for me. I don't know.
Well, I thought she was on drugs or something.
Right, I don't
Wow.
know like how she's a successful businesswoman, because I couldn't do business with somebody like that. I wouldn't.
I like Ramona. I like Ramona.
Me too.
Me too.
But I wouldn't want her
Well,
to
she's
like.
kook. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
kooky as all as all hell or whatever.
I like her too. Well, the weird thing is I agree with everything she says for the most part.
Right.
I think that she's actually speaks in a kind of sane way. It's
Really?
just the eye movements and the jitteriness.
Well,
crazy.
it's crazy because what she says is rational. It does make
Really?
sense, and I'll give you examples. However, it's ironic because she's the one that looks the craziest,
Yeah.
but
While
I
saying
think has the best head on her shoulders, because I think Molly can relate, and I think Anna can relate because you've done stand-up before, and Molly, does stand-up. I do stand-up. There's a no
Great. I'm being
bullshit.
punished for not doing stand-up.
Well, you're being punished in general for being you.
I'm just punished.
But there's like a no bullshit meter, I think,
Yeah.
when you're involved in comedy. And I think Ramona has a no bullshit meter.
Big time.
Even though, she'll play games to an extent, but she'll say things like, for example, when Sonja said, not everyone's invited to everything. Ramona said, that's just the politically polite, correct way to say it. Because that's all the girls are supposed to be invited, and she's being impartial.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Are all the girls supposed to be invited?
Yes, it's a Real Housewives of New York. There's 5 women, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women, and it's like if it was based. Okay, for example, the 4 of us. If I was like, hey everyone, we're going to get drinks after, except Yerman, I only tell Molly and Anna. It's like a little, disheartening. It's like we're all in this
It's like you're
together.
part of the group.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just didn't know that there's a preconceived, like nonverbal or verbal agreement, whatever it might be, that when going on a trip, everybody on the cast goes.
Well, that's the way it's always been on Housewives.
Okay.
And it's also, I'm 99% sure paid for by Bravo.
Right.
And
sure. She's like, I've got a flat in London. I was like, you
Well,
do?
actually,
You
it's
sure?
I would imagine it's not paid for by Bravo, because I used to have to coordinate trips like this when I worked in reality TV. Basically, there's producers like myself who are behind the cameras who are calling these people in London, begging
Please let them stay.
Please hi, have you heard of this show called Real Housewives? And they're like, no. It's popular in the U.S., I promise you.
I promise.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the US is horrible.
can we come and stay at your hotel, and we'll give you a little thank you on the website? And usually they'll be like, that's not enough, and then we'll be like, then we'll give you a logo shot. Like, we'll briefly show your
promotion.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they'll say yes. So Bravo is, I think, one of the cheapest networks on the planet. They don't pay for a thing. Their staff has to
Andy Cohen,
call people all day and try to figure this stuff out.
Yeah. I wasn't just going
Gotcha.
to say he's Jewish. I wasn't gonna say that.
Andy Cohen's Jewish. They don't pay for it.
I
On
wasn't
an
going to say that.
unrelated note.
I wasn't going to say that.
Unrelated
Oh
note.
my God. So annoying. Anyway, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, if that's the case, then sure. However, I don't necessarily think that. I mean, and I guess I'm the dissenting vote. I don't necessarily. I understand that Ramona likes to say that she keeps it real, but that doesn't excuse everything. And I don't care if you have no blunt meter, no bullshit meter, whatever. I think she was. I mean, the gesticulation was like the least of my problems. She was all over the place from start to finish in this episode, which I loved watching. But I'm not gonna say like I'm on Ramona's corner. I'm in Ramona's corner.
Yeah, well,
me myself, I'm not gonna say that.
I mean, I will say
I'll
when
let you guys take care of it.
when I'm usually I'm on Ramona's side regardless, and I do feel kind of bad that she's being pushed out. But I will say in this episode, when she met with Heather, it's like if you want to try to reconnect with her, don't act like you're coming from the loony bin. Like when they were having the conversation at the bar, and Ramona's like, I emailed you, and you didn't respond. Like, why did you think someone would want to be your friend when you're that in their face about an email response?
Well,
So she was not going about things, I think, in the best way, but I still am a Ramona team person, so it's only like her and I think, thus far on the team.
Well, here's my observation about that conversation. One, I don't know if that was whoever it is that's editing it, whether it's Andy Cohen or whoever else is now editing these shows.
Andy
But-
Cohen's doing everything.
Yeah,
I love it. He's back there.
used to.
Like,
He's back there like
used
making
to.
calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's making calls to hotels in London, hoping he can get somewhere for these girls to stay, and at the same time editing this thing. But that that whole lunch or whatever drinks altercation was two people not letting either person finish anything. So Ramona was just as guilty as talking over anybody else as she accused Heather of being. One. Two, if she is toting herself as the person with no BS meter, then why is she now choosing this season and now all of a sudden start doing passive aggressive ways of getting what she should have just walked in and be like, I hear everyone's going to London. Why wouldn't I get an invite?
point.
Instead, she chose this drinks. I mean, I even made a prediction, and then you and I were talking about how that's an obvious prediction, and absolutely it was, that she should have just said, well, obviously everyone's getting invited. Now all of a sudden I'm taking Heather out to drinks. Why? To get to know each other better as friends? No, it's because she wanted... Heather knew it was so that she could get invited to London.
Heather invited her to drinks.
Heather invited her to drinks because Ramona apologized.
Because
but Ramona apologized because she wanted to be invited to
Right.
London.
Okay. All right.
But you're
well,
right. She should have been. I mean, if she's all no bullshit, you're right. She should have said.
I'm just wondering why she
you
chooses
invited
now.
everybody, but you didn't invite me, and that
Well,
kind of hurt me.
There was a moment at Sonia's party where Ramona in the interview in between, in that scene said, this time I'm not going to say, she said, normally I would say right to her face, but this
Right.
time I'm not going to. I'm going to leave hints instead.
Right.
I think she thought that was more taking the high road. In her mind, I think she thought that was the way of being more mature, even though obviously it wasn't. Because then you get a lot of this, beating around the bush
Sure.
bullshit.
I don't know. I just didn't, and Heather wasn't doing such a great job either. I mean, the look on her face was so interestingly non-classic. When she said, "Yeah, got my email," and they hold on her face for some reason, and she just got this face like.
Ramona or Heather?
Heather's got this look because Ramona says, "I sent you the email, and your assistant told me a couple of times that you needed to get back to me and check your schedule first." And then Heather does one of these.
For everyone, sorry. Oh, that was
Yeah,
really loud.
exactly.
For
For everyone
who's
who
listening.
can't see, it's me having like my mouth open and my eyes like I don't really know why they paused on her for that long. It was just a very awkward moment. If you didn't remember getting the email, just say it. If you got the email but haven't had time, say it. It was just a very weird.
It just sent. You can tell Ramona is uncomfortable with Heather and the way she behaves, and in the interviews, she'll say, "I just can't be myself around her. I never really know what to say. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells." And I know a lot of some girls that I feel like that around. None in this room, luckily, except Marissa.
Thanks
of
for
course.
including me and the girls in this room. Thank you. That's awesome.
Well, you're not. No, I don't feel awkward
No.
with guys. There's certain
No,
women
I'm
where you
kidding.
just
I'm
feel like
kidding.
you can't be yourself because they're
Sure.
going to judge you, or you're not going to be enough for them, or whatever. I do feel like that around certain girls, and so I can see that coming out in Ramona's behavior because she's very on edge. And when I'm with girls that I don't feel comfortable with, I'm also on edge. I'm not fun. I'm not easy to like joke around with because I'm like waiting for that moment where I do something wrong, and then all of a sudden, and it does make you look stupid. It made Ramona look really stupid.
I have a question for you all. So, do you think that there's anything about the fact that both these women, something that occurred to me while I was watching it, both these women are bosses. And both these women are kind of they're used to getting what they want. They both run companies. They both run successful companies. Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that they're butting heads, that they both are used to getting what they want, and they're both used to being, I don't know, alpha dog, but in the female sense, whatever that might be.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
they're butting heads. I mean,
Yeah.
at one point, Ramona was even talking to Heather kind of like a boss would talk to an employee. She's like, all you have to do when you get an email is to communicate via past, like, well,
Yeah.
that's what a boss would do to an intern. Like, okay,
Right.
honey, here's what you do. When you get an email, all you have to do is reply
Right.
all, and then make sure you CC me on it. That's how you talk to, like, an underling,
Yeah.
kind of.
Right.
And then Heather was doing kind of the same thing back when she's like, well, no, I mean, obviously if my assistant got back to you, she's checking on something. And then before you know it, everybody's just looking away at each other, drinking their weird glasses of wine. I
Yeah.
don't even know what Heather was drinking.
No.
It looked,
That was
it
weird.
looked like
It was
murky
icy wine.
sangria. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
weird.
weird something
no, it
something.
was beer.
Was
in
that
a-
beer?
It was
like-
beer
it was
in
like
a
purple.
in a wine glass, like a wine glass or something.
It was like a
a
berry
chalice.
color.
Interesting.
It looked like beer. It was
But-
frothy.
It was berry.
And then Ramona, when she walked in there, she goes, "I'll have Ramona Pinot Grigio anyway, Heather."
And then there was
I was like, first of all, do they actually serve that anywhere besides
Right.
your own house?
Right.
and
Like,
did she,
really?
did she
Right.
hear Heather's comment on the way out when she
planted
just
it there.
bailed?
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that.
Did she
She's like,
hear it
Heather-
or did she not hear it?
Oh,
And I
she
say that with
heard it.
air quotes, everybody who's listening.
She heard it when Heather said, "So, do you live around here?" And she just was like, "I'm."
She didn't say this. She's like, rotary door.
My,
I'm out.
my heart
Yeah.
was my heart rate was elevated watching that. It was giving me so much anxiety.
My heart rate elevates every time Heather gives that fake smile.
Oh,
Toothy smile.
Yeah.
Well, when Ramona got there, she was on the phone, which not a big deal because no one was really there.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as Ramona was like, "Hey, sorry, I was late," Heather goes, "Hey."
Oh my God, that's a really good Heather. That's a
Oh my God.
really good Heather.
You guys,
Yeah, and it made
please
me
go
just
on YouTube and check
die
this
a
out.
little bit inside.
You
That
needed to
was
see that
so-
impression.
I've heard it from so many women. I feel like.
That was dead
You
on.
know, I was thinking maybe the reason they weren't getting each other's emails is because they both have Blackberries. It's like everyone has iPhones now.
Right.
And I was like, every single housewife on OC has an iPhone. Every housewife on this one seems like they have a Blackberry. It's
Yeah,
so
they
funny.
Because
do.
they're businesswomen.
Yeah,
They
that's
take them
right.
So they're serious business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got businesses to run.
And apparently
businesses that
Blackberries
nobody's
is-
ever heard of except
need-
for on their show.
I know.
She doesn't even I don't even know how to search for stuff on this BlackBerry. Do you know? And they're like, look at the
She's like, you search under mail, you look for my name.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's so.
Are
guys
we
been
at Housewives of
practicing? Yeah.
New Jersey?
Have you guys been practicing?
Sucks.
Wow. That was fantastic.
Well,
you two
when-
have a phenomenal Ramona impersonation between the two
No,
of you.
Ramona.
Oh,
Heather,
sorry,
Heather.
That's right. You're Heather. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
fantastic.
Well, when they were discussing the email, Heather, they were both talking over each other at the same time, kind of like we all just were a second ago. And she was like, see, I can't search in here. And it was like she almost showed Ramona because Ramona was looking I don't know, it was weird. It was like some social etiquette thing or something. Like Ramona was yelling at her, looking down at her phone, talking about how to do it. And it was almost like Heather was like, "See, bitch, doesn't work." Put it in her face and was like, I don't know. That's just, it was a very a passive aggressive thing
Yeah.
when she did that.
But it was also like a bit of a pissing contest because
Totally.
they're gonna like prove to each other like who got the email or sent the email or didn't get the email and like whatever, move past it. Like I don't know, just get back to Ramona or tell her no now or whatever, instead of like searching through emails on your BlackBerry. Come on, you know.
Great point. It seemed like that email should have been just like, okay, well, I didn't get it. Well, just tell me verbally. Well, I'll get back to you.
It was like, it was like, okay, well, let me tell you what the email said.
Right.
Anyway, it said, rather than being like, can you keep searching for it?
Right.
It almost seemed like dudes at the urinal comparing their dicks.
Right.
Like that's what it seemed like to me. It was like, who
waste
is
of
bigger,
time.
man? Like this one does. I can point it this way. Like I don't know. It just
it's like Heather one-upped her by saying, I have an assistant.
Yeah.
My assistant checks my email.
Yeah.
And a new BlackBerry.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You can't search in the same way.
And I will say Heather's response to when Ramona was telling her that she had sent this email, Heather really looked like, really? Really? You did? Really?
I did not get that look at all. I did not understand if it was like, how do I play this, or I have no idea what email you're talking about.
I think it was, how do I play this?
Yeah. She's lying.
Yeah, she was like getting time.
I think she's like, I got the email. I don't want to address the fact that I got it.
And I don't want to go.
But, she spends so much energy all day being fake and phony with that big smile, so it's probably just exhausting. Sometimes she has lapses of memory of like, how do I fake through this moment?
Right.
Yeah, because it's like you only have so many acts in your repertoire of how to bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we saw Ramona in other parts. Anyway, we saw Ramona as well kind of come up with LuAnn and Heather, which was a bonding moment for them when they were at when they were at LuAnn's friend's art exhibit, the photographer. And again, okay, I will say, sorry to jump around, listeners and everybody in this room. Carol had a lot of good lines tonight. I'm not going to get into the lines yet.
Yeah.
But Carol did point out that LuAnn is like a royalty name dropper. She has like royalty Tourette's.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
Yeah, it was so good. And so when we saw LuAnn in the museum or in the exhibit with Heather, it was like she was like, "Oh, this is my photographer friend who photographed my family for all these years and now is in China doing photography." It's like you don't have to say that stuff. Like Carol's not or no, Heather or whoever, we're all at the point where we're not going to like either hate you or love you based on the fact that your friend does photography in China.
Right.
Like I think LuAnn's really insecure about her place in the world.
Yeah.
And just always has to state it.
Yeah. No doubt.
Like I mean people and I'm like, "Hey everyone, I'm a host at AfterBuzz. I don't know if you know what AfterBuzz is, but it's owned by Maria Menounos." And
I say that all the time.
I do too.
I'm like, I put that on my Facebook and my Twitter before I got here tonight. Are you kidding?
Right.
But it's funny because like LuAnn, how you said she's insecure. It's funny because I feel like of all the housewives in existence, she should be the most secure because she's the most naturally pretty.
Yeah, she is.
She takes the least amount of makeup to look good. I think she's a very attractive woman.
I do too.
She is.
She doesn't even look like she's had any work done. And if she has, her royal surgeon did a great job.
I think she has had work done. I was thinking about that.
Surgeon.
I don't know.
A royal surgeon. Jester.
Probably like caters to the
gesture.
I don't know where I got Jester.
It was good though.
That's a tangent. Just scratch that from the record, please, if you could. Can we go back 30 seconds?
No.
Can we go back like an hour?
Yeah.
But I love how LuAnn was so when the show first opened, LuAnn and Sonja went to lunch, and LuAnn was just like grilling Sonja about Ramona and do you think she's jealous? Is she jealous? And she was just like a giddy little girl.
Yeah,
like, is she jealous? Tell me she's jealous.
Yeah.
She's jealous. And it was just a deep insight into her.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. I'm
me
sorry.
a note here.
Right
I don't know.
I just wrote LuAnn. I was like loving that.
Yeah. She's a pot
getting,
stirrer.
She's a pot stirrer. And if you
She's
ever
super stirring that pot.
If you're ever looking to buy pots or stirrers,
yes,
you can do it through AfterBuzz TV. I don't know if you guys knew that. But all you do after you're done listening to all of our awesome podcasts is you click the Amazon logo on the AfterBuzz TV website, and it brings you there. There's no charge and no code. I actually bought a microphone for doing more podcasts from my house through Amazon actually this week.
Oh,
but I went to AfterBuzz first, and it was a pretty pricey mic. So you're welcome, AfterBuzz. But it's that simple, Heather. So yeah, that's all. But anyway, back to LuAnn and the pot stirring.
She's a pot stirrer, and that was completely evident. Like she didn't even sugarcoat it or try to do like the weird.
She didn't try.
I'll kind of not talk about it. She was just like, so She had this look on her face from the get. It was like,
She's jealous. She's so jealous.
I'm so glad. Did you invite her? Oh my God, I don't know how I like you so much now. All of a sudden, and then it just went back from. It just went forward from there. It was no punches pulled there.
Well, LuAnn said, does she think we're having an affair? Like, it's almost kinky to LuAnn.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
She gets great joy.
Because I think LuAnn, though, I will say, I think doesn't have set friends in the group of the housewives. I don't think she really had set friends from the past seasons either. So I think LuAnn feeling chummy with Sonja almost feels like more part of the group or something. Because I feel like LuAnn is a little bit of a loner because she's never really in this group. She's never really in that group. She's floating a little bit. And she can relate to anyone who hates Ramona. That's really her thing.
Well, how can she relate to the masses when she's
she's
so
royalty?
That's true.
That's like hanging out with the villagers when you should be in the royal court having tea.
Right.
That is true. So I don't. Do we want to talk more about Ramona, or do we want to?
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk about that blow up she had with Sonja.
Oh yeah.
Are you kidding me? That was phenomenal.
Do that.
It was an epic blow up on a go.
Okay.
Breathe.
I know. I just need to take a deep breath. Watching this for me, it was kind of like watching. I don't know. It's these two best friends. I cannot believe the way Ramona was speaking to her. It was just like, Ramona's not getting her way, so she's throwing a tantrum.
Tantrum.
Right?
Tantrum.
Anyway.
Everybody's correcting me on the way I was pronouncing it. I thought they were agreeing.
Tantrum.
But instead they were correcting me. That's what just happened.
Please, Miss Anna, continue. I want to hear the end of this.
We said tantrum.
Tantrum.
Well, that sounds more. It just sounded straight. Anyway, it was jarring. Go ahead.
All right. Can we move on?
I moved on. I want to hear.
Move past it.
I'm definitely moved past it.
I don't even remember what I was going to say now. So
you were saying that
she's right. So she's right, and at Sonja's party, which was just extra inappropriate. And sometimes, and this is one of those scenes where I'm watching this show. It's like watching, especially horrible or like filthy porn, and it's like, oh my, this is so bad. Like, why am I watching this? This is terrible. Why would any woman do this to herself? Call her a bitch, pull her hair. It's just just one of those scenes. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Concur.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm so team Ramona in my mind because I'm not making this about myself, but I was bullied in high school, so I have a lot of experience with women being. I always refer back to this, but women being like the way Sonja was. She was being watered down. She was being a watered down friend, and I had that happen to me so many times in high school. And it's fine if Sonja wants to go, that's fine. But that happened to me in high school where I would have a friend who was being I would be being picked on, and then I would have my two girlfriends that were supposed to be my friends, and when they wouldn't stand up for me, I would feel angry. I would feel upset because I stood up for them so many times, and I would have stood up for them. And I always felt like it was an uneven playing field when that would because someone didn't want to maybe say what's right, which is, yes, maybe I should be invited, then I start to feel like, well, you're not a real friend, or you're watering down our relationship, and you're not really being ballsy enough to really stand up for me. So I can get where Ramona's coming from. I think the time and the place was inappropriate.
Right.
But I think that's what happens with emotions and women and wine. And I think that's what we're wanting, because if it didn't happen there, and it happened in the privacy of, like, their living room, it wouldn't have been as, like, feisty and fun. So, I mean, I don't know. That's the perspective I have on it from having so many bad experiences with girls.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel slighted by, Sonja's kind of wishy-washiness in her support of one thing over another. But this is where some people are big fans of not having a BS meter. I think that having a BS meter gets you into trouble in certain situations, and this is one of them. When you don't have any sort of filter, that's a very honest way of living, but it comes in, unfortunately, conflict sometimes with your environment. So when you don't have a filter, you sometimes don't make the connection between, is what I'm about to say appropriate for the time and the place that I'm about to say it in? And this was a monstrous, in my opinion, like mistake of, yes, you could have this discussion with Sonja and work out your friendship, but this is Sonja's night. It's her event. She invited you to this party. It's for her coming out of, her products and whatever. Just table it for now.
But don't
Even
they
her
all-
husband
but-
didn't buy it. Even
but
her
don't
husband was
they-
like,
but don't
what are
they
you
all
talking about?
have like gajillion amount of parties for themselves? Like it just seems like, so what? It's another party. Like all we do is have parties for each other because we're all special.
Well, but also at the moment, I'm sure Ramona was feeling so slighted by Sonia that she was like, this bitch is dead to me, you know? Like, who cares if she's going to ruin her party now?
Right. I mean, that's what happens in your mind, and I totally understand what you're saying, and you're a man, and whatever. Maybe your hormones are a little bit more in balance than mine.
No, I mean, I just would have, if everyone was telling me, like, okay, maybe this should be done another time, and then I went to my husband, and I was like, boss
she
lady
was
again.
being
And she's like, let's
spoiled.
go. We're out of here. And he's like, what are you talking about? Okay, tell me what happened. Well, if you know that she's this way, then why can't we talk about this? You know,
Right.
this is something for somebody else.
Right.
I'm having a good time. Maybe I would have said, well, maybe I should kind of compartmentalize, take it into advisement, and then reapproach this another time.
Yeah.
Instead, she's like, and then left.
Yeah. I definitely see that. I see that, but I also have a lot of, the pent-up aggression toward those situations where I
sure.
can see how that happens. But anyway, Anna, why do you look enchanted right now?
Do I?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that at all.
We should talk
No
about
response.
Sonia and Millsaps,
Millsap.
her intern.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
God, that poor intern.
I have to say, I'm so annoyed with the Millsaps thing, the intern. It's so scripted.
What is
and
Millsap?
That's her
Her,
intern.
it's her intern.
That's her name. That's her name.
Well, it's her last name.
It-
I think she
okay.
goes by Millsaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like so scripted and so phony and
Yeah.
so it's just like
It's slavery,
I feel
though.
like-
That's
I
what
feel
it
like
is.
it's like no, but it's so fake. I mean, obviously the girl doesn't bring her breakfast and pills in the morning. It's like obviously nobody
I'm
would
not-
ever
I'm
do
not
that.
Sure. I don't know.
But I'm just like it's just so fake that it's insulting to the audience intelligence.
A little
Like,
bit, although I have to say I was reassured by the fact that even the upper 1% has just as much trouble leaving an outgoing message on their phone as I do.
Huh.
Because I like to take 20 takes and make sure I get it right, and I'm just like, and I, oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Okay, delete,
I-
replay. Hey, everybody, oh, crikey. And then I keep doing that, so I was really kind of nice to see her be like, rambling and then deleting and then doing it again, and Millsap's just shaking her head like, cut it out.
Yeah.
Done.
One of
Hang
the-
up the phone. Hang up the...
One of the best sketches I ever saw was at Second City in Toronto, and it was like one guy sitting on steps, like without anything. It was like a blank stage, and all he was doing was trying to record his voicemail. And it
that's
was
funny.
like a 5-minute sketch of just him. It was really
That's
cute.
fantastic.
But
Sonia looks just like Paris Hilton's mother.
yeah, she does.
She's a clone.
Yeah, she does.
Clone of her.
I don't want to bring it to a screechy halt again, but I just want to let everyone know that iTunes has an awesome podcast app, and all you have to do is download it to your phone, and all your subscriptions will be inside that app, so you no longer kind of have to scroll through iTunes and stuff. So it's pretty convenient, and it makes
Very cool.
everything really accessible. Everything's just so freaking accessible.
It just
Yeah.
came out today, right?
Just came out today,
Yeah, it was
so
unveiled today. It's really cool. Very great idea.
Yeah.
be a trendsetter. So download that, and I believe it's free.
Mhm.
It's a free app.
I
So
believe so, yeah.
And you
So do
just
that.
might find a lot of featured shows from AfterBuzz.
AfterBuzz.
I think so.
Yep, cool. Yeah, so her intern, I was wondering that as I was watching, I thought there's no way, that almost did seem to me literally like slave labor, where you're bringing someone their pills when they wake up in the morning, and she's just laying in bed, and she was like, will you get me my phone? Like, does this
My chocolate, my
is this
phone.
girl just walking around getting whatever Sonia needs?
Well, she
is
said
that-
she's not an
fake?
assistant.
What did
She-
you
she
learn
said
from that?
That it's an internship,
Uh-huh.
which implies it's not a paid position.
Correct, yeah.
And this is what she does: is she just like
But what do
waits
you
on
learn?
Sonia, hand it. Right. That's why
You're not
it's
building
like
any
slavery
world?
to me.
Didn't she actually make an allusion to what she's supposed to be learning? I thought Sonia at one point had said something like, she's not an assistant.
I think
She's
said
an
she was
intern,
learning how
and
to
her
throw
parents wanted her to
parties.
find out like what it's like to be
In the
like
big city
in
or
the big
something.
city,
Right.
at subsisting at this echelon, and
Wasn't
so.
it supposed to be like an event planning internship? Or
Well, I mean that's
something?
part of it as part of Sonia's, business network.
Or
But
toaster
Sonia's,
ovens? I
yeah,
don't
toast.
know.
I mean, she's got all that stuff going on, and so she's supposed to. Millsap's
only
supposed to
skill-
clean all this stuff from her by bringing her the dog pills in
Please.
the morning by accident.
Please, all she gets is to like live in this breaking down townhouse that's leaking, and I mean that's what she gets in return.
The only
That's-
skill she really gets is like patience. Like any job now coming up, she can put on her resume patience.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Right.
Because I dealt with Sonia. So we spent a lot of time talking about Ramona. I think we should jump into a little bit of the London stuff.
Sure.
Because they should just go already, please.
I love that caption. That's a fantastic caption.
Just go. What do you guys think? Should Ramona be invited or should she not? Anna, starting with you.
Who cares?
Wow. Anything else? No? Molly?
I think it'd be way more fun if she were invited. I mean,
Yeah.
she provides juice to every story.
I think so. I mean, at this point, knowing now that, the trend has been that everybody gets invited, I think Carol's right up that alley. It's like she would be the first. She says she'd be the first on my list just to see what kind of shenanigans she'd get us into. I kind of like that idea.
Definitely.
I kind of like that. I mean, from a social point of view, I get if it's Heather's function that she wouldn't want someone she doesn't feel connected to. She uses disconnect all the time to describe their relationship together. Disconnect.
Yeah.
She's so disconnected. I guess I get why she wouldn't invite her, but that's not really the purpose of the show. You agreed to do the show. You agreed to be in the show together.
Does she feel
Buckle in.
connected to LuAnn though?
Right,
Give me a break.
Right.
Does she feel connected to every one of those other girls? I mean, is that connection have happened so quickly?
Right.
Right. Well,
I feel like her hair colors are disconnected too. She has like blonde, red, and brown.
They
It's
always
like
look different too.
Yeah.
Her
It
hair
looks
looks different every time she's on screen to me.
It's the worst dye job ever.
yeah. Well, we saw that side of Heather, because I think Heather likes to play it like she's Miss Innocent, but we saw in her interview say, well, my plan worked out because everyone gets their own room now, when Aviva wasn't going to go.
Right.
And so it was like she was happy that Aviva wasn't going, but to Aviva's face, she's like, oh, you're not going? Boo.
Oh, God.
Awesome. You've been killing it tonight. Boo.
I know.
So, as much as everyone likes to think how, above everything they are, I think Heather is, I think she looks at Ramona like Ramona's kind of dirty, but I think Heather's just as dirty.
Oh, she's so dirty.
She's so dirty. But I mean, I could see if you don't like somebody, you don't want them to go, but you're on a show with 5 other women, you got to suck it up, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just part of the...
Well, I think that's coming to play. I think the concept that these 2 women are boss ladies, it's coming into play. Like, they just want to get what they want, and now they're going to start showing their colors as to how they go about getting what they want.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. London. Kind of gray, kind of cloudy. New York City. Kind of gray, kind of cloudy.
Yeah.
It's like not going to change up the atmosphere that much.
No.
It's like not that fun of a trip. I like London. I've been there.
No,
It was
absolutely,
awesome.
I totally agree.
But you know what I mean? Like,
No.
go
It's
to
like the same
Hawaii
thing.
or go somewhere where you're going to be like, doing something different where you don't look like you're in New York.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because for the viewers, it's going to be the same exact thing.
That is so
Kind of.
funny you mentioned that, because the first thing I
Very
thought when
much.
LuAnn says absolutely I'm going, it's like, oh, where are we going to be? And they say Harrods. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to get a new pair of shoes. The first thing that comes to my mind is, so you're going to fly halfway around the world to go to an expensive shoe store because you can't do that here
Yeah.
in Manhattan, the
Right.
fashion capital of the West Hemisphere.
Right.
Well,
I'm just-
actually, when Heather asked LuAnn if she was going to go, LuAnn said, let me think about it. And then Heather said, yeah. 5 times. I counted and rewinded. I was like, why does she answer everything with 5? Yeah. Yeah. 5 yeahs.
Yeah.
So obnoxious.
I don't
can't
understand.
stand her.
So they're going to go all the way to London
Oh.
to get the same weather to be able to shop in the exact same places just so they can be like, oh, it's London.
Yeah,
They're
but
gonna be
everybody's
like,
gonna have a
"No,
fun
no, no, no."
accent.
True.
Yeah.
And they do have great accents out there.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what they'll do.
I just don't think-
Maybe LuAnn will be connected to her royal ties.
Maybe she'll start getting
Yeah.
connections here and there.
LuAnn's
Yeah.
going to find a real throne and sit in it and put on a crown.
Oh,
and-
that'd be amazing.
Can't you imagine the British people listening to like Heather and Ramona's horrific accents and being like, "Oh God, they have totally ruined the English language."
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, I can.
It'll be funny.
Yes, I absolutely can.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to kind of get London in and out because I like the drama leading up to it. I don't know if I'm going to love the whole time
the
in
whole
London.
reason why Aviva doesn't want to go is because she can't travel without Reed, her husband,
Oh, yeah.
and
Well, don't forget though, she also she got caught in a machine
Thank you,
when she was a
Anna.
child, had an accident, and she lost a leg.
I was so waiting
She-
for one of you to
yes.
throw that in there. Could not
So-
believe once again. What is that? 4 for 4 now? Fantastic. It's
And she
fantastic.
has a problem
One more
with an
time. So this one
elevator.
time I was stuck in an elevator. I mean, or I had this accident. Therefore, elevators are a little bit tough, and it's like right on target.
We get
right
it.
on target.
We get it, Aviva.
so I tweeted Aviva.
Fantastic.
And because I was just, it's like, how long are you going to play up this leg thing? I mean, you've had the leg problem for like 35 years now.
Right.
How old are you? Like 40? I mean, like, how long are you going to bring it up? So I tweeted her after and I said, something along the lines of, hey, Aviva, like, how do you get around New York City with all your fears? Because she's
Yeah,
made it clear, like,
it's a good
I'm
question.
Aviva, I'm the phobic one. And it's like,
Right.
that's not the most appealing, like, trait to have in the world. I don't know why
Sure.
you want to keep talking about that all the time.
Oh my gosh.
But she wrote, oddly, I feel very safe in New York City. And I said, probably because you don't have to spend time underground on the subway. There's too many humans. And she wrote back, #humans. I have no issue with people, crowds, or mass transportation. Underground is a bit of an issue. XOXO.
It's like, how could you not have issues with people?
Yeah, well,
that's my one question in life.
She rides around in the car.
Okay, so is that not a small machine? A car, is that not technically a confined space?
Yeah.
Technically a machine that is, vulnerable to a certain extent.
When you can control the air and your driver and all of the situation, I'm sure it makes a lot more comfortable.
I mean, my feeling is that I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
I just feel like Aviva's kind of boring. So she's like, if I keep talking about my leg and my phobias, I'll always be relevant.
Yeah, but guess what? That's boring. I'm bored with it.
I'm bored
Over
with it. Thank you.
The only thing only thing that interests Aviva to me interests me about Aviva is, as Yerman put it, the double agent. Because I do think she likes to go in and out of circles and bring all the relevant information.
You had seen that coming.
Yeah,
I saw that coming.
She would be talking, with one person and let them go on about how much they hate this other person, and then she would get with that other person and let them go on about how they hated that person, and she would just take it all in and really get, and so then once she started going around and saying, now what do you think about Ramona, or what do you think about LuAnn, or what do you think about Carol? It's just like you can see that she's really looking to get people riled up.
Well, isn't she doing one step more now? I mean, she at one point was like, what do you think about, or she would say little probing questions, but now she's straight up saying things like, so I just witnessed a blow up of epic proportions. Here's what happened. And then,
but then she would be the shoulder for Ramona to bitch on.
Right. And then she'd go back and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I had to deal with that. And you're like, wait a second, you just told everybody that she had a massissive blow up, and then go back. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Aviva, when she was with Heather, at the beginning of the episode, we saw Aviva, Carol, and Ramona. Ramona was like, oh my God, what does Heather do? Oh, she talks a lot. I know. Could you, talking so much.
That was so funny.
It was fun. It was fun. And Aviva was like, yep, nodding, like, yeah, she talks too much. Yeah, she talks too much. And then when Aviva was out with Heather, Aviva said to her, you can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's like so two-facey.
She's so two-faced. I do not like her.
She's one leg two-faced.
She's what?
One leg two-faced.
Yeah, one leg two-faced.
It's
one
like
leg.
Should be the opposite.
One leg enters, two faces leave.
Horrible.
That's Has nobody got the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome joke?
So
Sorry.
Funny.
Sorry.
It's so funny.
Yeah, no, Vivi is, but luckily Aviva's going to have help, it looks like. LuAnn is also now actively, are we going to call it double agenting? Are we just going to make that a verb now? I think we should.
Yeah.
LuAnn is kind of playing like the victim and throwing little things in there, like, I'm so glad you don't like her either. Aviva's kind of going up and doing different things with, kind of.
Oh yeah,
going
LuAnn
with
did. She went up to Heather at the party and she said, "So was
Right.
Ramona invited?" She goes, "I didn't invite her." And she goes, "I knew that there was
Yeah,
this and I liked
exactly,
her."
and that's
it's
that's
like,
definitely stirring the pot as well. Aviva's stirring the pot. And frankly speaking, I'm glad, because at least we've got this now. All this pot stirring, something's going to come up. Whereas before, it was like everybody was hinting at stirring the pot, but nobody wanted to take the spoon and do the thing.
Yeah.
Now we've got they all decided all of a sudden to bum rush the pot, and now they're all like stirring up together. It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And Sonia, I don't think Sonia is necessarily a double agent, but I just think Sonia, I thought she would have been on board with Ramona. I thought she would have been her protector, but now she's in the middle of the road. So she could start, if they go to London, Sonia could really start getting involved in the gossip about Ramona.
That's
But
true.
maybe not. Sonia seems, when Sonia was with LuAnn and LuAnn was loving the, affair they were having, in the cutaway, Sonia was like, I think LuAnn thinks I'm being, strong-armed by Ramona, but I make my own decisions.
Yeah, she
So-
said no one controls Sonia.
Right.
Yeah.
Except Bravo and
Harry.
your job here
And
at the
how
Real
much do we
Housewives.
love people that refer to themselves in the third person? I know I love it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Usually hate that.
Yerman loves that when people refer to themselves in the
Kristen
third
hates
person.
it.
Yeah, Kristen hates it.
So
It's awesome.
I don't know who else is a double agent. Anybody?
Well, I think it's Carol is now. Carol is gonna. I think Carol. I think we talked about Carol
She's not
also.
really an agent.
Well, she's not. I think she's a sleeper. I think she could be a sleeper.
Like, you
I
think
think
she's just
because she's-
letting it all soak up, and then one day she's going to become an agent?
Don't you think she's been silent like way too long? And she likes to get into demonstrations and stir the pot with, yeah, go ahead and paint my arm. I have no idea what this,
Here's my opinion on her, though. I think that she's treating this show as one big PR job to hope that some news network will hire her to be a journalist. That's very clear now. She keeps going, when I worked in journalism, I mean, it's like, we get it. You worked in journalism at ABC.
Got their tagline.
They obviously haven't rehired you, which is why you decided to go on this show, so you could get a lot of PR, and hopefully somebody will hire you to be a journalist.
She
so
says she chose to stay away. Reason. She said she chose to leave.
After she was fired or what?
No, well, we don't know the circumstance. She says she chose to leave because of the death of her husband, and she chose to leave.
There were too many memories.
She wanted to write the memoirs.
Yeah. But now she keeps saying how much she misses journalism. She wants to be in journalism. I think she's going to stay out of the choosing sides because
that's what journalists do. They're neutral.
Are neutral, and she's going to probably make her own judgments, but keep it to herself.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
And when this is all said and done, she'll probably work for like NBC News or something.
Yeah, it's ironic that she said ABC News had too many memories, but it's like it was too many memories. Now let me go write a memoir.
Yeah.
Like where all the memories are.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting away from the memories there.
I don't know. I have to say Carol right now is my favorite person, but for oddly enough, for that exact reason that you brought up, that journalistic side of her just kind of makes her just stand back and kind of observe this madness around her and just kind of lightly chuckle. Which is kind of what we're doing as a viewer as well. The only thing is that as a viewer, we want Carol to get in there and throw her card in there as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. But for so far, it's been like she gets to represent me in the bunch because I get to see the thing through her.
But that's boring. She's supposed to be a participant. Right. She's not supposed to be a viewer.
Yeah,
I agree. I think for her to stay relevant, she's got to get in the drama or like get a new cast member next season.
Well,
we don't need her.
Get
she
out
was
of there.
Really playing up the drama in her outfit in the end of this party.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What
was that?
Yeah,
what was that?
Y'all didn't
I didn't like
that?
it. No.
I feel like she is trying so hard to be like Carrie from Sex and the City. But, I mean, how hard is she trying?
No, really though.
Well, she clearly doesn't eat, and then she just like wants to talk with boys all day and wear outfits. Remember that guy? She
sounds
dragged
so
around.
wonderful to me right now.
Like, what did I just say? She doesn't eat. She talks with boys.
And wants to wear outfits.
Sounds pretty good.
Chris is like, that's like an amazing week for me. Right there. That's all I want to ever do.
So I'm trying to get
Someone
to in my life.
please pay me to do that.
And her like little friend that she dragged around with her everywhere she went that day. I was like,
what was that guy's name? Like everyone needs a
trip.
Trip.
And Trip.
I was going to say Xander.
Xander.
I have a friend named Xander, and they're literally the same person.
That's awesome, Xander.
You actually would probably like Xander.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. Anyway,
matchmaking.
Weird. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, what just happened?
That was weird.
I don't know. I'm over here.
When Trip and Carol went to the Wall Street stuff, they were so the 1%, but they're undercover. Like they're undercover 1%. It's like, oh, we look so casual and cool.
Yeah.
And he's got like this Ray-Ban, thick rimmed glasses
and
on.
her like sweater tied around her neck.
Yeah.
Like just ugh.
Yeah. They were totally undercover Wall Street people. I don't know. They're like, they have the money, but they don't like want to be part of that world because they're like too liberal and whatnot. Anyway, that's how I see them. So you guys, have I shut down the conversation enough to go to a commercial? I think we weaned down to nothing. So I think with that whittled bit, we'll head to a commercial and we'll be right back.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows. Like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. We are back. Yes, we are talking about Real Housewives of New York City, Season 5, Episode 4, Disinvite. We have our special segment every week called What She Should Have Said. And we don't always have What She Should Have Said. We just like to point out what they shouldn't have said. But anyway, this week we have a couple things. I think this episode wasn't super heavy with those lines, but am I the only one who has? Does anyone else have any lines?
I have some, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go? Do you want to start?
Sure, I'll start with Heather. So while Heather and Ramona were out having drinks, she said to the waiter that she wanted to order some hummus. And what she should have said was hummus, the way everybody else in the world says
Which,
it.
being of the Middle Eastern persuasion, I myself was horribly offended by. I'm just going to say that right now. Hummus.
I want some hummus.
And her mouth, you can't see this, but her mouth really expanded like 8 times its original capacity. It's a hummus.
It's the way they said it in like Bruno, when Bruno goes to the Middle East. And they're like, I don't know.
I know, you
But
can
keep in
tell
mind,
that
folks, this is the same crowd who's offended by tantrums, so they're...
That's true.
No, I wasn't offended. I just didn't know what you said.
we were just correcting you.
Were we offended?
Nothing
That'd
to be
be
offended
awesome.
by.
I was offended.
Whatever it was. I don't know.
Offended.
I would like to augment myself.
Well, I just say it.
shamed.
I say it
I was
because
shamed.
if a viewer thinks it or a listener thinks it,
I was shamed.
if the viewer or listener thinks it, then I also chime in so that the viewer or listener doesn't have to have a chance to say, "Oh, I think it's said this way." You know what I mean? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're all having a tantrum over tantrum right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
So,
like... I feel like...
And then the one other thing that Heather said is...
I don't know.
What'd you say?
Wait, what did you say for Heather?
One other thing that Heather said at the towards the end is she goes, "I am sincere. Holla." And I'm like, no white woman that's ever sincere would say the word holla. Like,
Because that sends it home.
yeah, ridiculous.
Didn't it send it home? I thought it sent it home. I totally bought it. I was kind of doubting it until
I'm
she
just
said holla.
dying
And I
to
was like,
know
holla
if,
back.
I have a feeling that the whole time she was working with P. Diddy and all those like gangsta chic people that she's worked with in her life, she was like holding it in and like just wanting to say it so badly and she couldn't. So now that she's gone, she's saying these words.
Or she said them
These
while she was
words.
working with them.
These words.
And then
Was
P. Diddy
fired.
was constantly like shaking his head at the club and going, "Oh my God, somebody, can you please, who can we get someone else or something?" Like that's why she doesn't necessarily work with them anymore. Maybe, I don't know.
He's
I'm
like,
just
somebody get this
just
white
the
woman
flip
out of
side
here,
it.
please.
Yeah, somebody-
She's so annoying.
somebody get. I don't know. I'm just saying. Flip
Yeah.
side, possibly.
Maybe.
I have is my quote the same as your quote?
With the Afghan?
Yeah.
You can read it. Mine
Well,
just
I
has
didn't-
question marks around it.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, unfortunately, viewers, I repeated this. I played this back like 10 times and with up the volume and everything, and I still couldn't get this one word. But she says, right when they're having with him and Tripp having French fries and a drink after they just mingled with the 99%. They go, "I've been to dinner parties on the Upper East Side that felt scarier than something in the Afghan war." What she should have said was nothing, or nothing even related to saying anything about relating the Afghan war or any specific place in the Afghan war to lunches or dinners or drinks or anything on the Upper East Side. But instead she said apparently war zones are apparently less dangerous than dinner parties in the Upper East Side, which just makes me very scared to go to New York City.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was funny.
I thought it was a really funny, good way to put people who think they're special in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she saying? You're saying she made herself out to be someone special, or
No, I
she's
feel
making
that
fun of
funny
people?
comment.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like I would rather go to Afghanistan than a party in the Hamptons. Like I agree with her.
Well, okay. Is there no better way of saying that? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I go, ooh.
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in my world, I don't know.
I'll sit here corrected. That's my
No,
quote.
you're fine. We're all different sides. We can have different
Absolutely.
opinions.
We can have different
It's
opinions.
okay.
We're allowed to be different.
Don't throw a
human beings.
tantrum.
Okay.
Speaking of weird words, also viewers, did you all catch? Was I the only one
Molly
that caught
liked it.
Heather saying dissuade? And I'm definitely not an English expert at all, but I feel like she either wanted to say dissuade or sway, but then she, in the spirit of disinvite, she decided to say dissuade, which I think is not an actual word. I'm going to throw that out there.
I don't
Moving
think
on.
so.
I don't think it's a word. We could look it up. We could.
Yeah.
We could
I'm too
Google
dumb
it.
to know the official answer to that. I apologize.
Are you mocking me now? I'm not. I didn't call you dumb.
I'm
just.
I'm
with
not
the
at all.
tantrum. I'm
No,
like.
she was
I was
talking to
just-
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. We're having an
Things
awkward
just-
moment.
yeah,
right
it
now.
got real awkward just now.
No,
It's
because
getting really Ramona and Heather.
it is getting Ramona Heather.
It's getting
But I
really
didn't.
uncomfortable.
I'm
Check,
uncomfortable.
quick, bust
right
out
now.
your blackberries out real quick. It'll be weird.
Wait, do you guys remember this quote that LuAnn said? And I think she said it regarding Ramona. She said she can be the life of your parties or she can suck the life from your parties.
Yes, it was about Ramona.
And I was thinking she should have said she can be the life of your parties or she can suck.
That would have been good.
That would have been just fine.
Period.
That last part was superfluous for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think one that I thought was funny was Aviva referring to her phobia, getting over her phobia, as Rome being built in not being built in a day. But it's like your phobia shouldn't be that big. Shouldn't be compared to something so elaborate as Rome. Like, you're not Rome.
Yes. Along with that, when did she have her accident? When she was 6?
Right.
Okay, and so she's definitely in her, you know.
She's 40, right?
Okay,
She's gotta be over 40.
So Rome definitely, apparently, Rome wasn't built in about 40 some odd years either.
Right.
So clearly, we need to get to the century mark before we can be like, okay.
I mean, that's being really nitpicky. I mean, some of these are super nitpicky, but when I heard Rome wasn't built in a day, I was like, I don't think your phobias are that special.
Yeah.
But,
like, Rome was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And Aviva isn't that big of a deal.
I like that reaction. I think that's what I had with Carol saying that thing about, like, mocking. I was like, yeah.
Can I just throw in one random thing that nobody said, but that I was thinking? Do you guys remember Stephen Kochikaru, the stylist from Today Show back in the 90s?
The name is familiar.
Anyway, look him up. That's exactly what Carol looks like.
She's very mannish.
A man?
Of him. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
she has very manly features.
Speaking of random notes, I also had did anyone else think it was a little bit funny that they were talking at one point about how Angelina Jolie probably reads her own emails and responds back to her friends?
No, she doesn't.
And I was like thinking to myself, I could almost positively guarantee for myself that I would think Angelina Jolie probably has 17 assistants and 14 personal and interns who bring her everything she needs, because with 6 kids, Brad's career, her career, I don't think she has time to even.
She adopts assistants.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't have her cell phone. She gets herself she would be told, "Hey, you got a message from so and so. What do you want me to say?"
She probably has interns to breastfeed her babies. You know.
So that was a really funny little moment. I went like, "Oh, that's kind of funny," because they were like, "Oh my God, can't she please? Why has Heather got assistants that respond to her? I mean, Angelina Jolie is responding probably to her friends saying, "Hey, girls, let's all go out to lunch." I'm like, well, that's an interesting
Jolie,
image.
I don't think has
friends.
Right.
Yeah, that's a better point.
She
eats them.
I'm not trying to make a point about whether Angelina Jolie has friends or not, but I just think she might have some assistants herself.
She has
that's all I'm saying.
girlfriends in jars at home. Like, I feel like she has little specimen jars of friends.
Interesting.
I don't think she has any.
Yeah, no friends.
Wow. Okay. Specimen jars.
So, news and gossip.
Yes. Let's hear the sound.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I didn't read the story, so.
I didn't either.
So apparently the Countess deals with plenty of drama on Real Housewives, but she has techniques for getting over fights between girlfriends. However, before she goes on to tell us how to get over fights with girlfriends, which maybe Anna and I will have to use the technique a little later tenight.
Are we in a fight?
She says...
what keeps happening over here?
I'm kidding. She said she has really good ways to throw a chic dinner party, but it's just funny because it's like, well, aren't we talking about how to get over...
That's what she led with?
That's how she led with in the article about how to get over fights with your friends.
Sure.
Well, she
or that's
has a
how
lot of
edited
tips.
it.
This is class with the Countess.
Yes.
So
yeah,
we don't want to miss an opportunity.
She's got a lot of tips.
It's funny, though, that she's giving the advice because she hasn't made up with her friends. So it's like she should use her advice.
Somebody asked her the advice, so who's that idiot?
Yeah. She said to first apologize and then bring presents. Which is hilarious.
Speaking of presents, didn't they all get mad at Ramona for bringing skincare? Is that really such a... Ladies, tell us, for all the men out there who might be listening to this podcast, was that a little bit over the top? Like, is skincare such a bad gift?
I thought it was a little harsh to rip on her. I mean, she doesn't barely know anybody. What is she going to get you, a personalized birthstone?
And not only that, but how can you ever rip on somebody for a gift? Shame on you.
Right.
You know, it's a gift.
It's a gift, right?
I don't know. My coworker gave me night cream once, and I was like,
well,
it's kind of a passive-aggressive, rude gift.
That's an interesting. Well, but that may be because it's specifically night cream. Like, that means that they actually put some thought into it. Like, they need to use something at night.
You need to take advantage of
the shower. You're not looking moisturized when you come in.
Well, they have just given you some moisturizer or like a nice little, I don't know, essential oil or something for fragrance. But why they're like, no, you need some night cream.
Some eye cream.
She also gave me a double XL shirt once, so I think she might be a passive
Okay,
aggressive
well, that
girl.
sounds like a
Not
completely
even
separate problem altogether. Like, I think the gift-giving thing, her
Anyway.
gift-giving paradigm needs to be re-examined.
But wasn't it a Ramona Singer brand skincare?
I
Wasn't
didn't
she
know if it was
plugging
her
her
brand.
Well, I don't.
Oh,
I mean, it was
maybe
a gift.
I saw that. Maybe it was a joke. I saw somebody on Twitter wrote
It was
like,
a
It was
gift. It
Pinot
was-
Grigio
Yeah.
skincare. I don't know.
I don't know. It was a gift. Like Anna said, it was a gift. It was free. It's a gift. Say
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Be done
it
with
was
it.
just
like,
a nice thought, and
yeah.
you just
Why with the
Oh, it
Aviva
was
passive aggressive comment? Now, moving on to gifts. So we have to apologize, then give a gift. Night cream in specific, if you're looking, if you're listening, because apparently
Yeah.
night cream is the best gift ever.
Yeah.
Then what? Is there more? Did she? That's all she did. That's all you.
That was it for
That
her.
was the extent of the list.
How was it?
That is an extensive
Well, I
list.
mean, she said
I
make a
mean-
quick call or an email, but I mean beyond that was literally
Okay,
that was
okay.
it.
Can you have the assistant shoot the email?
Yes.
Is
Right.
that appropriate?
And
That would
can
not
you
be
search for that
appropriate.
email on your BlackBerry using the search finder field?
Probably, but you'd have to ask Ramona.
Interesting.
I think it's funny that she has the book Countess, Class with the Countess, because she has a song "Money Can't Buy You Class," unless that money goes toward my book. It's like, a little funny.
Oh my
But
God.
they asked her in the article, "What's the best drink to have in public?" And she said, "A beer bottle doesn't feel classy." It's like,
Oh.
ooh, that's breaking news.
Yeah.
Said beer is a great choice on a hot summer day, but why not pour it into a chilled glass first? That's her advice.
Oh,
For that.
innovative.
Yes. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, keep hydrated with plenty of cold water. It's like, oh, thanks, Dr. Ramona
Yeah.
or LuAnn. Damn it, damn it. So, I mean,
I tweeted
Not
her
super
asking
exciting,
if she'd
but-
be singing it all this season, and she didn't respond. So I don't know if that's the
well,
answer.
yeah, she's probably
Well,
embarrassed
you're
about that.
probably not on that tier.
I
of,
know.
You're not royalty.
speak
yet.
to her.
Yeah. Oh God. I
Yeah.
should have said Countess.
Maybe you should email
Yeah.
it to her. Maybe you should email it to her.
Yeah.
Or send her a gift.
Maybe.
With
Yeah,
an
send her a gift.
With an
I
apology.
apologize.
Send her some night cream. Be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, two other just quick pieces of news. The ratings are still down, and also
Oh, really?
Jill Zarin said she will not be coming back. As if, is that interesting?
The
If it
ratings
is,
are
there you go.
down.
It's news. And so that will make. That's it for news.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Thank you.
To
Why don't we talk about some predictions?
excellent. Oh God.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love how I intertwine predictions with previews. Like all my predictions come from the previews.
Oh.
Well, yeah, sure.
I mean, it's hard to avoid.
I just think that's smart.
Yeah, it's hard to
Well
avoid.
done.
It's like a cheat, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cheat sheet.
Yeah.
So do you guys anything any takes on what's coming up?
Well, we've been anticipating this falling out between Ramona and Aviva, and I think it's going to happen while the other girls are in London.
With Ramona and Aviva.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they're going to be in close quarters,
Yes.
being the only ones in New
They're
York.
going to commiserate while the others are in London, then they're going to blow
Kind
up.
of falling out. Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's my prediction.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Juicy.
agree. I also think that Aviva. No, I'm sorry, not Aviva. Yes, Aviva is also going to have a falling out with the other girls because she's lecturing them about Ramona, about how they should take her. Because we saw them, Heather and Ramona on the bench. Or, God, names, damn it. Heather and Aviva on the bench. And Heather was like, when did Aviva, oh, God, I need to stop. When did Aviva get so far up Ramona's ass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So
a great comment.
I
Yeah.
think there might, because I think Aviva has done a good job staying neutral, being the double agent. But I think now the double agentry, because she's going to be a little lectury about this Ramona thing, I think that's going to get her in trouble with the rest of the crew. So I think her and Ramona could also have issues, but I think then Aviva will also have issues with the other women as well.
Huh.
Do you guys think that LuAnn's gonna get pregnant?
Hell no. We'd hear about it by now, I feel
Yeah.
like, if she was pregnant.
But she's trying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but this was filmed like Wall
Oh,
Street stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah. I was like, right.
Mm.
I mean, unless she lost it.
Oh.
Sounds weird.
That would be great
Sounds weird, but I
television.
mean,
Yeah.
Why'd you giggle? You're like, unless
I'm
you
like-
lost it.
the less people, the better.
Oh my God.
That's how I feel. Awkward laugh. So,
Do you guys think Yummy Tummy's gonna tank? I mean, we already have Spanx. They're
unless
$1 billion
LuAnn's just wearing
business.
Yummy Tummy,
Right.
Oh,
it makes her look.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Can't
not.
suck
but
all that in though.
no.
Like 8 months of like, no.
What do you think Carol's good news is going to be? Did you see her? She's like, my husband's alive.
My husband's alive.
I don't know.
We saw her in the previews go, good news, and everyone's like, yeah.
She's
And it was
like,
clearly
I got
for
hired
Carol.
to be a journalist at.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also we have, I think, us finding out that Carol, I don't think the women knew that Carol was a princess. Did we know that? Because Ramona's like, you're a princess?
We knew that from the first one.
We knew
Well,
that.
Ramona
Oh,
really
well, the
knew that.
audience knew. Yeah, maybe she.
Right.
Women didn't know.
Right. So I think Ramona finds out, but then Ramona makes a funny comment, which I'm excited to hear. You're above LuAnn.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Which I thought was really
Ramona's
funny.
funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
What are your
Well-
predictions?
Anybody?
Do I? What? No, I mentioned a prediction. I think Carol was going to get in the muck of it. What I'd like to see happen is LuAnn drop a royalty name while in London, and then have that
Boom.
person completely disavow any knowledge of LuAnn's
Oh, that'd
existence.
be amazing.
Like, oh my gosh, yes, me and the Queen hung out last weekend. The Queen's like, I don't know who this person is. Security.
Yeah.
And then have like a fisher
great.
coming like, "Rah!"
Yeah.
That would
That'd
be
be funny.
awesome. And then finally Carol be like, there you have it.
Yeah.
We find out she's just
There it is.
a countess because her husband was like Count Chocula. or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Like the count. He's like a self-proclaimed. I'm the count of this 3 acres of land. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Anyone else predictions? No. Anybody? Bueller? No?
That's it.
All right. Well, if you guys want to give your Twitters,
Sure.
your tweeters.
Anna, go ahead. Start.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, and you can also find me here at AfterBuzz Sundays at 6 o'clock, buzzing about Mob Wife Chicago, as well as this Thursday, the premiere of Anger Management is
Yes.
at 9 o'clock, and I'll be here buzzing away about that as
Yeah.
well. Woohoo!
Awesome. Tune in to that. Mal?
You can find me at Molly Comedy or at mollyharpercomedy.com.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Yerman Gur, YERMANGUR, or you can come in and watch us buzz or hear us buzz about True Blood, Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
And go to my blog, sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com, and like it on Facebook. And that's it for us here at AfterBuzz TV. From all of us here and to all of yours there, we hope you have a wonderful night. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.